A narcissist fears one thing above all: losing control. To them, control is not just power, it is survival. They manipulate, deceive, and twist reality to make sure they are always in charge. The worst thing you can do to them is show them they never had control in the first place. Narcissists thrive on power. They manipulate, gaslight, and play mind games to keep you emotionally invested. It does not matter whether you love them, hate them, or argue with them. As long as they can pull you into their web, they win. But the moment you refuse to play their game, their power crumbles. That is why the ancient Stoics had the ultimate weapon against narcissists. They did not fight for control. They did not waste energy trying to change toxic people. They mastered the only thing they could truly control: themselves. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where the battle is won. The best way to defeat a narcissist is not through arguments or revenge. It is through indifference. That is what they cannot handle. When they see that their words no longer affect you, that their mind games no longer control you, they panic. They will try everything to pull you back in. They will guilt trip you, provoke you, and even pretend to change. But it is all an illusion. The moment you understand this truth, you are free. You are no longer a victim of their manipulation. You are no longer trapped in their cycle of control. If you want to make a narcissist powerless, you must take away the only thing they truly crave: your attention. And that is exactly what we are going to do. Here are 7 ways to make a narcissist feel completely powerless, based on the wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Way 1. Starve them of attention. A narcissist needs attention like oxygen. They do not care if it is admiration, love, or even hatred. As long as they have your focus, they feel in control. That is why the most powerful thing you can do is take that attention away. Ignoring a narcissist is not just an act of defiance. It is a direct attack on their deepest fear. They are terrified of becoming irrelevant, because without your attention, they lose their sense of power. A narcissist without an audience is like a performer on an empty stage, desperate for applause that will never come. The moment you stop reacting, they start to panic. At first, they will try to pull you back in. They will use guilt, insults, or even kindness to lure you into their game again. They might send messages like, "I miss you," or "I do not understand why you are doing this." If that does not work, they will provoke you with lies, accusations, or drama, anything to get a reaction. But you must remember one thing. Every response you give them is fuel. Even if you are defending yourself, you are still feeding their ego. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That is exactly how you win. You do not argue. You do not explain. You do not react. You give them nothing. This does not mean just ignoring them in person. It means removing them from your world entirely. No checking their social media. No responding to their late-night texts. No listening to mutual friends who try to update you on their life. Even wondering what they are up to is still giving them power. Narcissists can sense when you are still emotionally connected to them. That is why the only way to truly break free is to go completely cold. No explanations, no warnings, just silence. At first, they will convince themselves that you will come back. They will tell themselves you are just trying to punish them. But every day that passes without your attention makes them feel more powerless. When a narcissist realizes they no longer matter to you, they start to unravel. They will try to bait you in new ways. They will flaunt their happiness, make sure you see them moving on, or try to make you jealous. But none of it is real. It is all an act to get a reaction. This is where your power lies. The moment they see that you are truly done, that their presence no longer affects you, they will feel a pain they cannot escape. Because nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing they no longer exist in your mind. If you want to weaken a narcissist, do not fight them. Do not engage. Simply let them starve. Way 2. Set unbreakable boundaries. A narcissist hates boundaries. They thrive in environments where people are too afraid, too uncertain, or too emotionally attached to say no. The moment you establish firm, non-negotiable limits, they start to lose control. But here is the problem. You cannot just set boundaries. You have to enforce them. A narcissist will test every single limit you put in place. If you say you do not tolerate disrespect, they will push the line just enough to see if you will still engage. If you stand firm, they will escalate. They will guilt trip, manipulate, and even provoke you into reacting, because to them, a broken boundary is a victory. If you say you will not pick up their calls after a certain time, they will call anyway just to see if you really mean it. If you say you are done with toxic conversations, they will bait you with drama just to see if they can pull you back in. And the moment you break your own boundary, even just once, they win. Because now they know your limits are flexible. Now they know all they have to do is push a little harder, wait a little longer, and you will cave. Once they see that weakness, they will exploit it over and over again. This is why Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A Stoic does not waste time justifying their actions to people who refuse to respect them. They simply stand firm. When you set a boundary with a narcissist, it has to be like a brick wall. Solid, immovable, and impossible to manipulate. That means no explaining, no justifying, and no exceptions. The more you explain why you need your boundaries, the more they will twist your words, make you feel guilty, or try to make you question yourself. You do not owe them a reason. No is a full sentence. When they realize they cannot bend your rules, they will try to make you feel like you are being cruel, selfish, or unreasonable. They will say things like "you have changed," or "I guess you do not care anymore." They will play the victim, act like you are the one being unfair, or accuse you of being too sensitive. Do not fall for it. That is just another manipulation tactic designed to make you lower your guard. You must also be prepared for retaliation. Narcissists do not take rejection well. When they see that their usual tricks are not working, they might escalate their behavior. They might try to turn others against you, spread false narratives, or do everything in their power to provoke a reaction. But that is where the true test of your boundaries begins. Will you fold under pressure, or will you stand firm? A narcissist will always push, but how far they go depends on you. If they see that your limits are unshakable, if they see that no amount of guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or manipulation can break you, they will start to realize that they have lost their grip. Way 3. Show no fear, stoic calmness. A narcissist thrives on fear. They want you to feel intimidated, uncertain, and dependent on their approval. They want you to second-guess yourself, to hesitate before speaking your truth. Because the moment you start believing they have power over you, they do. That is how they control people, not just through words, but through the unspoken dominance they create. But here is what they do not expect. The moment they realize you are no longer afraid of them, their entire game falls apart. A narcissist has no real power, only the illusion of it. They operate like magicians, using manipulation and mind games to make you believe they are stronger than they actually are. But the moment you stop reacting with fear, their illusion crumbles. They realize they have no real authority over you, and nothing terrifies them more than losing that false sense of dominance. And just like a magician, once you see the trick behind the act, it no longer works on you. So how do you show them you are not afraid? You stop reacting the way they expect you to. When they try to intimidate you, you remain calm. When they raise their voice, you lower yours. When they insult you, you look them in the eye with quiet, unshaken confidence that says, "I see through you." That will rattle them to their core, because a narcissist's worst fear is someone who cannot be controlled. They will test you. They will try to provoke you, to humiliate you, to make you doubt yourself. They will bring up your past mistakes, twist your words, and spread lies just to see if they can get under your skin. But the key is this: you do not flinch. You do not defend yourself to someone who only wants to misunderstand you. You do not waste energy proving your worth to someone who refuses to see it. Instead, you move as if their words mean nothing. Because once they see that their usual tactics do not work anymore, they start to panic. Marcus Aurelius said, "Choose not to be harmed and you will not feel harmed. Do not feel harmed and you have not been." This is how a Stoic approaches conflict. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about recognizing that your reaction is your choice. A narcissist is like a bully. Deep down, they are weak. They project confidence, but inside they are terrified of being exposed. When they see that you are no longer afraid, they will scramble to regain control. They might try to guilt trip you. They might switch to playing the victim, or they might lash out in desperation. But none of it matters, because once you reach the point where their presence no longer affects you, where their validation no longer determines your self-worth, you have already won. They will tell you that you have changed. They will say you are being cold, distant, or ungrateful. They will do everything in their power to make you feel guilty for youth. But you do not owe them an explanation. You do not owe them an apology for refusing to be afraid. Because the truth is, they were never as powerful as they wanted you to believe. They only seemed that way because for a time you let them. Way 4. Refuse to explain yourself. A narcissist thrives on control. One of their most powerful weapons is making you feel like you owe them an explanation. They want you to justify yourself, to defend your choices, to prove your worth. Because the moment you start explaining, you are already on the defensive. You are already giving them power over your emotions, your decisions, and your sense of self. But here is the truth. You do not owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. You do not have to explain why you walked away. You do not have to justify why you set boundaries. You do not have to defend why you chose peace over chaos. A narcissist will demand answers not because they genuinely care, but because they want to find a way to twist your words, manipulate your reasoning, and pull you back into their cycle of control. And they are experts at it. They will act like they just want closure. They will pretend to be confused, saying, "I do not understand why you are acting this way, or can you at least explain what I did wrong?" But the moment you engage, the moment you give them an opening, they will use your words against you. They will make you feel guilty, saying, "After everything I did for you, you are just going to walk away." They will turn it around on you, saying, "So now I am the bad guy, or I guess I was never good enough for you." They will downplay your feelings, saying, "You are too sensitive, you are overreacting, this is ridiculous." And before you know it, you are caught in their web again, going in circles, trying to defend yourself to someone who never actually wanted to understand you in the first place. So what do you do instead? You stop explaining. You stop justifying. You stop feeling the need to make them see your side. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That is the mindset you must adopt. You do not owe them a debate. You do not owe them validation. When you say no, it stands alone. When you walk away, you do so without a long speech. When you decide to protect your peace, you do it without seeking their approval. At first, they will not know how to handle it. They are used to pulling you back in with guilt, with gaslighting, with fake concern. They are used to making you feel like you owe them a conversation. But when you stop explaining, when you leave them with nothing to argue against, nothing to manipulate, nothing to twist, you take away their power. And that silence, that quiet, unwavering refusal to justify yourself will drive them insane. Because nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing they no longer have access to your mind. Way 5. Silent success. Nothing tortures a narcissist more than seeing you thrive without them. They built their entire identity on making you believe you needed them, that you could not succeed without them. But when you rise, when you prove that their influence was never essential, it shakes them to their core. Their worst nightmare is realizing they were never as important as they believed. If you achieve something, they will find a way to minimize it. Anyone could do that. If you express an idea, they will dismiss it. That is not going to work. If you get excited about something, they will suck the joy out of it. Do not get your hopes up. They do this because they do not want to see you rise. Your growth threatens them. Your independence is their nightmare, because if you succeed without them, they lose their grip on you. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike your enemy." That is exactly why the most powerful thing you can do is succeed in silence. You do not need to prove anything to them. You do not need to make them see your worth. You simply build, grow, and move forward without looking back. A narcissist expects you to seek their validation. They expect you to feel the need to show them how well you are doing. But when they see that you are not seeking their attention, when they realize that your success has nothing to do with them, it will eat them alive. At first, they will try to take credit for your progress. "If it was not for me, you would not be where you are." Then they will try to discredit your achievements. "You only got that because of luck." Finally, they will try to pull you down. I have heard people do not really respect what you do. None of it matters. Their words are a reflection of their own insecurities, not your reality. The more you succeed, the more they will try to undermine you. But here is the key. You do not engage. You do not argue. You do not give them the satisfaction of knowing that their opinion still affects you. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." The strongest move you can make is to surround yourself with people who uplift you and leave behind those who drain you. There will come a moment when a narcissist realizes that they no longer have access to your life, your mind, or your energy. They will see you moving forward, making progress, building something they never thought you could, and the weight of that truth will crush them. Because nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing that you never needed them in the first place. Way 6. Empathy without engagement. A narcissist expects one of two reactions from you. They want you to either fight them, giving them an excuse to paint you as the villain, or they want you to bend, feeding their ego by letting them win. What they do not expect, what they cannot handle, is empathy without engagement. A narcissist feeds off your emotions. They thrive on your frustration, your sadness, your rage. They provoke you, manipulate you, twist the truth, all in an effort to get a reaction. Because as long as they can control how you feel, they can control you. But when you respond with calm, detached empathy, when you acknowledge their behavior without letting it pull you in, they lose their grip. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This is the key to handling a narcissist. You do not allow them to drag you into their world of illusions and emotional traps. You see them for what they are. But let us be clear. Showing empathy does not mean excusing their behavior. It does not mean giving them another chance. It does not mean letting them back into your life. It simply means understanding why they act the way they do while refusing to let that understanding trap you. A narcissist is deeply insecure. Beneath their arrogance and manipulation lies fear. Fear of inadequacy. Fear of being unlovable. Fear of losing control. They hurt others because they do not know how to face their own pain. When you recognize this, you stop taking their actions personally. You stop feeling the need to prove yourself to them. You stop wasting energy trying to make them see what they will never admit. Instead, you look at them with quiet, detached empathy and move on. You do not argue, do not try to change them, and most importantly, you do not allow them to pull you back into their cycle of control. Because nothing unsettles a narcissist more than realizing they have lost their ability to control your emotions. Way 7. Leave and never look back. A narcissist never truly believes you will leave. They believe they have conditioned you to stay. They believe they have built a world where you rely on them emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even financially. They believe that no matter how bad things get, you will always come back. That is their biggest mistake. A narcissist plays the push and pull game better than anyone. One moment they make you feel unwanted. The next, they act as if you are irreplaceable. They drain you, wear you down, strip away your self-worth, just to turn around and pretend they are the only ones who truly care about you. And if you have ever tried to leave before, you know exactly how they react. They do not let go easily. At first, they will promise change. They will say everything you ever wanted to hear. They will pretend to reflect, act as if they have had a great awakening, tell you how much they regret everything. And in that moment, when they sense you slipping away, they will mirror the very love and kindness they withheld from you. But not because they mean it. Not because they have truly changed. They do it because they need to pull you back in just long enough to regain control. That is why leaving a narcissist is not just about walking away. It is about leaving for good. They will try to pull you back with apologies, guilt, and false promises, but you must remember one truth. A narcissist does not change. They only change tactics. The only way to win is to make sure they never get another chance to play their game. It is about understanding that no apology, no promise, no temporary display of affection can erase the cycle of manipulation. It is about breaking the trauma bond, cutting off their access to you, and refusing to be drawn into their web ever again. Because the moment you decide to leave for real, they will switch tactics. If love bombing does not work, they will shift to guilt. After everything I did for you, you are just going to walk away. They will play the victim, twist the story, rewrite history to make you the villain. You never really cared about me. You are just like everyone else. And when guilt does not work, they will turn to anger. They will insult you, attack your character, call you names, spread lies about you. Anything to break your resolve. But you must not waver. You must understand that their words are weapons, not truths. Their sudden remorse is manipulation, not real change. Their desperation is about losing control, not losing you. That is why the only way to win is to walk away and never look back. No explanation. No farewell speech. No closure-seeking conversation. Because narcissists do not give closure. They create confusion. They do not resolve things. They restart cycles. The only closure you will ever get is the one you give yourself by deciding that your peace is more important than their chaos. And yes, it will hurt. It will feel unfamiliar. It will feel like withdrawal, because you have been conditioned to believe that love is something you must suffer for. But that is the illusion they built to keep you bound. That is the lie they repeated until you believed it. And once you see through it, once you reclaim your power, you will realize that leaving was never about them. It was always about you. Conclusion. Your power is in walking away. A narcissist's greatest fear is not losing you. Their greatest fear is you realizing that you never needed them in the first place. The greatest power you will ever have over a narcissist is the ability to take back your life, to deny them the control they so desperately crave, to refuse to engage, refuse to explain, refuse to be manipulated. Because the truth is, you do not owe them your energy, your time, or your emotions. When you stop feeding their ego, when you set unbreakable boundaries, when you show them they hold no power over you, they lose. And when you succeed without them, when you heal, when you walk away and never look back, you win. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That is where your freedom lies. Not in fighting them, not in proving yourself to them, but in choosing peace over chaos, wisdom over reaction, and detachment over destruction. A narcissist expects you to fight, to defend, to engage in their never-ending game of manipulation. But when you walk away with quiet strength, when you refuse to give them access to your mind, you leave them powerless. You do not need revenge. You do not need closure. You do not need to prove anything. You only need to free yourself. And once you do, you will see the truth. You were always strong enough to walk away. You were always capable of building a life beyond their control. And now, you finally have. The only question that remains is this: are you ready to reclaim your power?